The year is 1985. Cartoons ruled the airwaves for us, whether you were 3, 5, or 10 or older. Those cartoons were a driving force in our lives. Little did I know, from the humble beginnings of this photo, would I have started a journey 20 years in the making today to try to bring back my favorite franchise from when I was a child. There's been a lot of help along the ways, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But look at this fresh-faced kid and his brother. These images, whether you have these in your photo albums from when you were younger or not, are ingrained in our memories. They're the moments that we remember as defining of our childhood. When you got that toy that meant everything to you, the world was just perfect. Flash forward to 2001. I was teaching myself web design, and I wasn't very good at it. You have to start somewhere, though. And in my long searches, I eventually came across a website. You might know it if you're a m.a.s.k fan, m.a.s.k. I spent hours on this site remembering all the memories I had from when I was a child and learning things that I had no idea existed. From that moment on, a path was set that I didn't know I actually set myself. See the radiator there? It's in the back. I tried to fish through my old pictures, but I didn't have a good shot of the radiator that was in my bedroom. But one like that is where I found my Matt-Trakker figure, my original. Now he resides with my mom. But finding him, finding that website, knowing about eBay, really set me on a path where I wanted to absorb and learn and convey as much as I could about Mobile Armored Strike Command. And yes, 20 years later, very few iterations of m.a.s.k have come along. We've had a G.I. Joe figure, a comic run by IDW, some Transformers that look like Hurricane and Stinger, a figure from the IDW line, and the comics of Kerouac, m.a.s.k 85 and 86. I consider those canon. 20 years of hoping and waiting, seeing false news posted. Admittedly got me down. There have been times where I thought of giving up. But when I started the YouTube channel, and I was able to branch out to more of you, to know that you're out there, and I'm not alone in this journey, means the world to me. And I hope that we can celebrate that one day. Well, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of my website, I'm going to take a look back at my top 20. Well, can't really do top 20. There are 20 things that I'm going to go back to and look at and remember and share with you. And I hope you enjoy it. I will be as open as I can be with this. But thank you again for sticking around. And in a few seconds, you're going to see my face. But before we do that, let's watch this commercial that I did a few years ago with the Agents of m.a.s.k, Jason and Wyatt, and help from a very, very special voiceover artist named Doug Stone.
M.a.s.k, where illusion is the ultimate weapon.
M.a.s.k agent, I spotted Venom. I'm in hot pursuit. Transforming. I need help. Too many of them. Seriously, dude, you gotta do something.
I don't know what you want. I'm a billboard. I can't help you. Look, it just sits there.
M.a.s.k agent, anybody out there? Come on, come in. I need help.
Dude, I'm too busy collecting tolls, man.
I don't have time to help you. Oh, great. Another crap load of dimes. Help!
I really don't understand what you want me to do. I'm a billboard. Look, this is a toy that my parents gave me. What do you want me to do? Well, at least I can eat this candy. Ugh. Tiny Series 1 masks. If only they were a little bigger. Ugh. Wait, let me go over here. Yep.
Maybe I want this thing. I mean, I think these actually shoot.
Alright, you can go. Who cares about Venom? I need my dimes.
Shoot, I got in the way. Man, I should have done a better job of.
So that was
this
shot a
team
few
together.
years ago
Jeez,
at RetroCon
terrible.
Alright, you can go.
with the agents of M.a.s.k, Jason
Hey,
and
I
Wyatt.
finally got enough money
It
to
was
get my own vehicle.
pretty fun, to say the least.
Yay!
We
Vehicles each
we
sold
tried to
separately
find a
with
spot
figure.
inside, but
We
there was
don't
really
recommend Billboard
nowhere
Blast or The
for us to
Collector if you
go.
love your children.
We were contemplating, like, should we go into a restaurant and do something? What about over there, here? So we kind of just camped out right outside a store near the convention, and cars were driving by, and we were sitting there playing with toys for that commercial. And it's a good segue into some of the elements that I'm going to be talking about here. So I'm going to be using the Wheel of Illusion to help pick out the topics that I talk about. So that way there's no particular order, but since I played that commercial, I'll talk about, well, both of those things right up front, RetroCon and Agents of M.a.s.k, and then we'll jump into the Wheel of Illusion. But for those of you who don't know, I'm Bill from Matt-Trakker.com, and the website, hopefully this launches on the 17th, will be 20 years old, give or take some leap years, but that's what I'm aiming for. And talk about the Agents of M.a.s.k, Jason and Wyatt. When I first met them, it was online, and a lot of people found it weird that quote unquote competing websites were friendly with each other. And that's kind of where I feel, one, like we had a passion for something similar. So they had a script, they still have a script. A lot of people do have scripts, but theirs is one that I've actually seen. So Hasbro, Paramount, Netflix, anybody, you're really wasting time here. See all this gray? I don't know how much longer we're holding out for, but get moving. But Jason and Wyatt, we got to talk a lot, through Facebook messages or text messages, but mostly Facebook. And it was always just a fun time chatting back and forth with them. And leading into RetroCon, talking about that, we had the honor of sharing the stage for a panel with Doug Stone, who played Matt-Trakker, among other voices. And RetroCon is back this year. I'll be there, and there'll be a few other members of the channel there as well. I believe you'll be able to run into Brian, Kerouac, Darcy, and Lisa as well. So I'll be there on Saturday. I'll probably be wearing this shirt, so if you see me, say hi. It was just kind of like surreal, where we were all going, what? We're going to do a panel with Doug, and we prepared a ton of stuff, and it was just really, really cool to see all that come together. And then the one thing I do have a regret of is that the recording we have isn't great. So if you attended RetroCon and you have the recording of that session, feel free to share it with me somehow or let me know that you have it. I tried my best to restore it to maximize it, but it just wasn't really working out. But you can see it. There's right on the webpage on the YouTube channel. Look for Retro-Con Remastered. You'll be able to check that out. It was a moment that I'll never forget, and it was definitely something that I never thought I'd be doing. Sitting on a comic show panel with the voice of Matt-Trakker, among like I said, among other voices. There's a lot that he did, but surreal. It was a huge honor, and I thank Tony and all the showrunners at Retro-Con for that opportunity. So I'm going to get the Wheel of Illusion up here, and we're going to let it go, talk about what I'm thinking, and move on to the next one. And if you're not familiar with the Wheel of Illusion, it's on Talking Over Time, that show that Brian and I do. So check that out as well. So as I'm getting the wheel up here, if you have any questions about anything along the way, post it. Just let me know topic if you have any that you want me to answer on, and do my best. So Lance Anderson. So for those of you who don't know, Lance Anderson was the creator of the m.a.s.k logo. And if you look over my shoulder here, a lot of the box art, about 90% of it was his design, the graphics. He was integral for a lot of what you would see on the m.a.s.k products. And Lance had actually reached out to me through the website to introduce himself. And there's an interview up on the website with a lot of really interesting tidbits about some of the early development of m.a.s.k. But Lance sent me this sheet just out of nowhere. And there's a couple other ones out there too, a couple others that people have. It's just like, hey, this is what I used to help design the packages. Enjoy it. Unfortunately, Lance passed away a few years ago. And I really wish that I was able to talk to him in this kind of fashion, just because I really appreciated what he did. It kind of helped resurrect me putting more time into the website. So always be grateful, and hope he's resting in peace. Custom artists. So this is a pretty wide topic. There's a lot of them out there. And the one thing I'll say is that all of them help breathe new life into something that hasn't had any. Whether it's a custom of the Thunderball ramp up or Shark, the energy rooms, there's so much out there. There's figures themselves, everybody out there that has contributed to this. I'm amazed at your talent and your dedication. There's not many out there that have the craftsmanship that you do, and it shows in your work. I can't name everybody, but for everybody that has done something with me, I really do appreciate it. I just hope you keep creating and help keeping this moving forward. Without you, I don't know where we would be. So thank you for that. Lisa, Dave, and Darcy. Now, there's somebody I left off that list. Maybe we'll get to them in a little bit. Well, we will. But Lisa, Dave, and Darcy, we would talk a lot back and forth, and I had the idea of trying to help spread the m.a.s.k knowledge around, not just me conveying it, but others as well, giving people something hobby wise to do, or just using their knowledge, their expertise in the m.a.s.k field to convey to you through the YouTube channel. And it's done on their own time, and I'm always appreciative of the fact that I get something from them when I least expect it, and it's always a nice surprise to see something pop up, some new content, because I get tired of looking at my face when I'm editing stuff. So it's nice to see something else. And there are others on the channel too. Cliff, you haven't made anything yet for the channel, so sorry about that. And Kerouac is his own special slot here, so we'll get to him in a little bit. But thank you again for taking the time to record and to share your knowledge. Just like everybody else that's in this community of ours, it takes a lot to keep it going, since nobody else is doing it outside of us, the community itself. So hopefully you keep going. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot to me. Well, there's a lot to talk about with this. I'm trying to keep these to about a minute or two apiece. Sometimes I might ramble a little bit past that, but the website, it's kind of how I taught myself pretty much my career path, to be honest. Everything that I know about computers is pretty much all self-taught, and it started with the website. And in the opening, there was a shot of like an early design, and it was terrible. But you have to start somewhere, and you have to grow somewhere. And fortunately, me growing, and developing a craft, so to speak, it didn't turn too many people away from the website itself. There were a couple iterations. I don't know why I called it the m.a.s.k domain of Matt-Trakker initially. I'm thinking it had something to do with domain being where your URL sits. Very strange name, but I'm happy with where it's at now. There's other sites out there that convey more knowledge. Like there's a little bit more in depth. m.a.s.k Force, Kenner m.a.s.k, All About m.a.s.k, m.a.s.k Comics, and if I miss any, there's others too. Agents of m.a.s.k. I'm not doing it on purpose. There's a lot of them, and they've grown as well. So if you haven't checked out the website lately, Matt-Trakker.com, it's pretty up to date. Hope you enjoy it, and check out the other ones as well. You'll find some links there. So it was a huge stepping stone, and I have no plans of stopping it anytime soon. So hopefully we'll be able to post some news to it that is new m.a.s.k content coming out from Hasbro or something like that. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's the website. I wish I had more pictures. I wish I could give you a better answer on the name from the initial one, but I decided to shorten it to make it easier. And I didn't like the 3 T's being together. So M-A-T-T and then T-R-A-K-K-E-R, all one line. I do have that URL registered, but the dash separated it where it made it a little bit more pleasing to the eye. So that's why that's like that, if you're ever wondering. So, yeah, that's the website in general. So the charity auction was pretty unique. Hurricane Sandy hit my hometown pretty hard, and it affected other houses worse off than mine, but my childhood home. But we pretty much lost everything that was in our basement. Luckily, I was able to save stuff beforehand, maybe a few months before. A lot of the stuff you see back here were still at my parents' house, so luckily it didn't get lost in the flood. And the reason why I say lost is because there was a lot of sewage water. I remember I posted the idea of doing a charity auction, and a lot of people jumped out right away, and the voice actors all pitched in something to help raise money and for the Red Cross. And the auction went off great. I'm trying to remember who ran it. I know his name was Chris, but I'll post, it was such a long time ago. I'll post the site here. And then we had the Dwayne Kennedy figure that was made. Can't read it from here, but the Dwayne Kennedy figure was all made and custom sent to anybody that won, I think, a portion of the auction. So I think there was about 50 of them made, roughly. So if you have one of those, that's where it came from. If you ever see that Dwayne Kennedy figure, if you're ever wondering why or where it came from, it was initially from that spot. We raised, I think it was roughly around $1,000. It wasn't going to change the world, but it was nice to be able to donate something to help maybe at least one family. So everybody, thank you for that. And I really do appreciate that. Doug Stone, there's not much more I haven't, well, not much more I can say, but I haven't said already about him. Very compassionate, very, very open, loves hockey. So it's really cool to be able to chat hockey back and forth with Matt-Trakker himself. The one thing that stands out the most, other than, I mean, Doug's done very cool stuff for the website. There's the personal greeting when you come to the website. And I'll talk about that in a minute. The commercial earlier, that was Doug's voice doing the voiceover work, and doing the panel with him. So really great, and a couple of conversations on the channel as well. Very funny, and just he always wishes me happy birthday too on Facebook. So appreciate that. But for those of you who don't know, I live right outside of Philadelphia, and if you're familiar with the area, you know that the traffic is awful all the time on I-95 around the city. I was sitting in standstill traffic on that road, and a little while before, a couple of weeks maybe, I forget exactly how long it was, I said, hey Doug, would you mind doing a recording for the website, just greeting people? He said, no problem at all, just give me a little time to get it done. But as I was sitting there in the traffic jam, I got a popped up email, and opened it up, and sure enough, it was this recording. It was really cool. It was a moment that all the road rage I had from sitting just went away. I think I played it like 80 times as I was sitting there, and it's still there today. Go to the website, just play it. It's pretty unique. It's nice to have the backing of the people who made the show too, for the website, having them back the website and having them approve of it. It's especially the voice actors. So again, there's not much else I can say about him other than he's great. I know it's an odd overall encompassing, very generic way of describing somebody, but I don't know any other words to describe them other than great. So, so Doug, thanks again for everything, and I'll probably be bothering you again at some point soon. So stay tuned for that. Alan Greenwood. It's not a name I hear much lately, but he's still around. Back in the infant stages of the website, I needed a good identity for it. And at the time, I wasn't really that proficient with graphic arts. I don't remember the exact deal we made, but I think it was a trade of artwork for figures. Hopefully he made out on that, because the tracker design that has been up on the website for years, it's finally come down, but it's still on the website if you want to check it out, under the media section. It really helped define, hey, this is a m.a.s.k website. This is the home of Matt-Trakker, and getting that definition going and really tying in the toys with everything else that was going on, like tying all the toy characters from Matt into the website. It meant a lot in the overall scheme of things. I think it helped give that identity that people would associate with. And it sat there it was 2007 when they came around, and it was literally just, I think, this past summer when I took it down, just because I was trying to unify the artwork and it was getting too cluttered. But again, it's still there if you want to check it out. I'm always going to be appreciative of it. I definitely have the shirt of that design printed out already, so make sure I keep that forever. So sites and social media, that's something that I kind of just grazed upon during my talk about the website. There's a lot of things out there. There's a ton of message boards. Well, not message boards, there's a ton of Facebook forums. A lot of different sites out there. And I never once considered them as a competition. I always thought of it as, hey, I'm learning something different about something that I love. The one thing that would be really cool, I don't think it would ever happen, but I think it'd be something that I wouldn't mind seeing, would be like everything combining into one. But that would be that would be a pretty monumental undertaking. I don't know if everybody would want to do that, but there's merit to it. Combining all the knowledge in the one spot, but it doesn't matter in the end. The sites are there, the information's there. m.a.s.k.com has a ton of great content. Kenner Mask / all about mask. The screenshot selection is massive. Agents of Mass has some great interviews in their Maskcast podcast they do. So there's so many things out there to really, if you really want to learn more about it, you have the opportunity. Now, I know Facebook isn't for everybody, not everybody has it, but for something to sign up for free, there's a community tab on the website. There's a couple of spots in there you can check out. I recommend it just to learn. Maybe you can buy something a little under eBay value. A lot of really good people there sharing a lot of really great knowledge. So I recommend it. I really do. Not just saying it because it's something that I'm a part of or run. It's just absorbing as much as you can about a subject that you love. It's hard to do, especially with this content, because there's such a wide variety of items and lores about the show and the different variations of toys, the playful line. There's so much to learn and so much to absorb. So I recommend getting on there. And if you have any questions about where you should start, feel free to ask. But anywhere is where I would start, and then just work your way around. So, but keep doing what you're doing, everybody. Keep updating when you can. Post when you can. It's all about the time you have, and whatever time you give is time that's precious to everybody who's learning something. They're still absorbing something different about the line, about the cartoon. So keep it up, keep updating, and maybe one day, maybe like 2050, we'll combine all the sets. So we'll see. This blew my mind. And to this day, I'm still flabbergasted. Use that in your vocabulary today. The chili find. I get messages asking me if it's real or not, and I was skeptical at first. I thought it was photoshopped. But no, what you're seeing here coming up on the screen is a warehouse full of m.a.s.k toys. More specifically, Meteor, Iguana, Bullet, and Firefly. Why those? I have no idea. But they're all sealed. And the finders of this sought out the collectors instead of just going straight to eBay, trying to get it to the collectors. Some people had issues with the pricing, but consider, I don't know what they paid for this warehouse. I don't know if it was sight unseen. Basically you buy something like, if you watch those Storage Wars shows, you buy one without seeing it, and maybe you get jackpot in there. Although a lot of those are fixed, this could have been a real life situation of it. I did interview one of the people that were selling them, Yang Lee, great guy, very upfront, he shared a ton of knowledge about this too, because it took everybody by surprise. The one thing I will say is, just thank you. You guys took on as many people as you could during COVID, and your area was a lot more restrictive on movement. So for you to get that out there and ship worldwide really mean a lot. Now, unfortunately, what you're going to see out of this is still people questioning if these are real or not. I can tell you that they are. And nobody in their right mind would recreate a warehouse full of those 5 toys. Goliath was there too, but not when all this stuff came out to everybody. And also there was other stuff that was found in there as well. So it's I think if you want to own something factory sealed, if you never had that opportunity before, reach out to Yang Lee. You can find him in the m.a.s.k Toy Collector group. He's a great guy. Just ask him up front questions you have. He'll answer them honestly. The YouTube channel where you're watching this right now. I still don't know what I'm doing. I there were some early videos, like my Boulder Hill video, that no effort went into, and it got a lot of views for what it was, for me not having an established channel, things like that. I didn't think anything of that, but when I was at RetroCon one year, if anybody's familiar with the YouTube channel, Channel Awesome, I know there's things in the past with them that transpired, but that's not what I'm talking about here. So Doug Walker was there. He plays the Nostalgia Critic. And this was before the show was really running. We got there early, my wife and I. And I saw that he was getting set up, and I decided just to go over, say hi, thank you. Just because he's successful on YouTube. And I had a general question for him. I said, I have this passion about m.a.s.k, and what do you think of a channel for it? And he said, well, essentially what you're going to come across is, with it being that directed, is you're going to have that target audience, and that's what people are going to go to you for. If that's what you want to talk about, then great, go for it. As long as you have the passion for it, as long as you put the work in, people are going to see that and appreciate it. And I took that advice and thought about it for a little bit and decided to try it. And so far it's working out pretty well, I think. I want to get the viewership up more, but that's just going to come with more sharing and more hard work on my side. So I'll keep doing that. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, by the way. It's something that I'm going to keep pushing forward with and keep doing as long as I have the time and as long as I have the passion for it. And that comes from you watching and giving advice, asking questions, giving a like. That's where it all comes from. As long as there's somebody to watch, I'll keep producing it. So. I clumped this one together. Talking with Retro Blasting, Michael, and Toy Galaxy, Dan. I watch their channels pretty regularly, and I really respect their opinions and what they do. And it was really cool to be able to sit down and chat with them about m.a.s.k, get their input, get their thoughts on why it hasn't come back yet, and why, what's taking so long, and what's, what made it so iconic. The list goes on. I felt kind of, I guess, validated at that point, where I like doing this for everybody, but it was nice to be able to say they took the time to talk to me on the channel, meaning that I feel like I'm at least doing something right. If you haven't checked those out, they're up on the channel. They're in the special guest area. I hope to be able to appear on their channels one day, when next time they're doing something m.a.s.k related. But I'm always going to be looking out for those channels that care about m.a.s.k and reach out to them. There's actually going to be one coming up with Analog Toys. Recently, they did a couple things with Boulder Hill and had a live stream. So if you haven't checked those out already, please do. And I look forward to chatting about m.a.s.k with them and see what their opinion is. So, but just like kind of a moment where I'm like, I'm doing something right. So it's a good feeling, as the moral of the story. And I hope you enjoy them as well. It was easy to edit. Normally those one-on-ones are the easiest thing to edit. So videos like this take a lot of time to edit and put things together, because you're calling back to something, or you're looking back at something. A lot of that with the agent profiles as well. So that's a different story, though, different topic. The evolution of my collection. Well, when I started to recollect, I had about 5 things that survived my childhood. And surviving is using that term loosely. If you actually go to the Facebook page in the photo albums, you can, if you go back pretty far, you can kind of see where the collection was at one point into what it is today. I was never big into boxed items, and the boxes that you see here are all empty. So they're not sealed or anything like that. They're up there on display with some command strips. I have 2 sealed boxes from the Chili find, but that's it really. The Dynamo one too. That was one that was found in Singapore years ago as well. But no, I once I got the vehicles complete, and then once I was able to round out the figure shelf here, I started going into the odds and ends. You see behind me, there's the trash can, there's a sleeping bag, I have 4 kites that I will fly soon, mittens, all kinds of stuff. The mask was on everything. So it's when I see something that looks a little unique or a little like it needs a new home, I'll try to grab it. But hopefully if I lose out on it, it's going to another collector. That's my only hope, is that it's anything that's going somewhere, it's going somewhere that's going to be appreciated. So I can't imagine that it wouldn't. I don't know if I'll ever really stop collecting. At some point, this is going to go to my son. I just have to figure out the right age where when he's done with it, I can put it back behind glass. No, I'm always going to be on the lookout. Original artwork, cell animation, more kites. 4 is not enough, so I need more. There has to be more out there. The interviews with the cast and crew. First, let me talk about the ones that I've done. I've pretty much talked to everybody that in either a text interview or on the YouTube channel that was a voice actor on the show, except for Brian George. I haven't been able to get a hold of him yet. I'm still going to keep trying, but he might not remember it really. He's still going, I think, and acting. So who knows? But I'm going to keep trying. I've tried to reach out to producers. I was able to talk to some of the writers, and it was always really cool to get their perspective and learning about some of the craft, learning some of the stories behind the scenes. If you haven't listened to the Graham McKenna or the Mark Halloran interview on the YouTube channel, some pretty funny stories there. So I highly recommend it, and search out for Doug Stone as well. And in the Larry Leon interview, who was the vocalist for the theme song, for years I was wondering who that was because he never credited in the cartoon. And it was a shame, really, because I not being biased, I think it's probably the best 80s cartoon theme song, period. So that was a fun interview as well. Be able to find him and be able to chat about his time, and just really cool. Again, some people that I do want to talk with, and if you can help me track people down, just to ask if they would like to. I would love to talk to people from Kenner. I haven't been able to find anybody. I'd love to be able to talk to Brian George, producers. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So if you can help me with that, that'd be great. Just get a hold of me through any of the various means, and let me know. But everybody that's taken the time, thank you. You didn't have to do it, but you did anyway. And thanks for making the 5-year-old me come back out listening to some of the stories and reliving the memories. It's something that you can't really put a price on, and always going to be grateful for the time spent. Talked about this a little bit in the open. Finding my original Matt-Trakker figure is kind of the one of the, actually it was the springboard really of me starting to look and then becoming curious about what else was out there. So finding the figure, it's at my mom's house right now, and I don't remember how, like, I think I might have been cleaning the room maybe once every 10 years, I think is appropriate. So I think it was something along those lines, and just found it sitting down there behind the radiator. We had a cover on it, so it was not exposed. And it's just sparked interest. It definitely was, I guess the founding of the website, and 20 years later, it's part of the continuation of it. So, so if you have a Matt-Trakker figure, give him a little thank you for inspiring me to try, I guess is the word I'll use there. You might be confused about the title of this one, Sell for $1. I frequent eBay, and this is going to be a short story, but it was always something that stuck out as I can't believe that happened. On eBay, I found a piece of cell animation. I'll post it here. It started at $1 or 99 cents or whatever it was, and then there was shipping. I put a bid on it and forgot about it, and I ended up winning it for $1. And sure enough, it's still here today. It was just like I was like, I just can't believe I got this for such a little price. Now, cell animation is very hard to find, especially if you are looking for anything in season 1. It's almost impossible. The later episodes you might have some luck with, but anything early on, I wouldn't count on it. This is a broad topic. Kerouac, him producing the m.a.s.k comics, putting them out, taking his own time to do it, continuing a story that he thought of himself, and just kind of, like I said earlier, making it canon. That's that. I mean, I appreciate that a lot. He made me into a m.a.s.k figure, which then was turned into a figure behind me here, which is another topic on the wheel. But it's not even the artwork. It's the fact that I think we became pretty good friends online through all of this, really. And I'm pretty sure we chat at least once a day for a little bit. You wouldn't think we'd be friends either, because he's a Mets fan and I'm a Phillies fan. If you're not familiar with baseball, those two teams don't get along, and neither do the fans. But m.a.s.k is, that's strong, really. I appreciate his opinions, and it's pretty funny, to be honest. And doing the talking overtime with him, it's fun. We're going to get another episode in soon. We've been a little delayed on that, but keep an eye out for that. There's a lot to be able to really unpack here and talk about, but having those comics is great, but I think the friendship I like a little bit more. So thank you for that, sir. I'm glad they went back to back. Chris Ismore, custom artist, mostly in the G.I. Joe 3.25, 3 3/4, one of those things. We were talking back and forth, and I wanted to talk to him about, coming on and talking about his collection, and he did, some of the stuff that he's customized and made. And jokingly, I was like, if you really want to challenge, make me look good as a figure. And sure enough, he's like, all right. I was like, that's not the answer I was expecting. I was expecting maybe a snarky remark, something funny. But sure enough, not too much later, I was a figure. And I know he's going to be working on a mass scale one as well. But Chris, your work is amazing, and the fact that you took the time to craft that, and I'm glad you didn't work the face in. I don't think you would have been able to stomach that. So thank you again for taking that time and not make it look terrible. So thank you, sir. I can't believe it landed on that one. And it's kind of fitting that it ends with this one. So my son's about a year and a half old now. And before he was born, I started thinking about what I'm going to do with this collection, if and when the time came where I needed to move it, to think about it along those terms. I thought about donating it, selling it, something. I wasn't sure. But the one thing I'm really happy about, and it's up to him if he wants to like these or not. I don't know if that'll be the case, but I'm hoping that will be the case, where one day these all come out of glass and we're playing with them. Not some of the playful figures. It might be off limits, but I really hope to be able to share the adventures and work with his imagination on what's happening with these characters. And if he doesn't want them, like I said earlier, I'll just put them back in the glass case and pack them up, something along those lines. But it's nice to know that I can share these memories with him, talk about the time of me doing all this and the time of me being a child and playing with these with my brother and watching these as I was a kid. Stories are only meaningful if you remember them as meaningful. And there's a lot of really meaningful stories I have around this website. None of those stories are possible without everybody working together. It's as much as making videos, running a website, running a forum, running a group, liking a post, sharing your collection, asking questions, answering questions. There's a lot that goes into it, and all of it's important. And without all of us moving as one and pushing forward, it just would have been a website that might have gone by the wayside. But again, you've stuck around and keep me motivated. So thank you for that. And remember that everything that you do with m.a.s.k is important, because nobody else is going to do anything about it other than us, the fans. It's been way too long. Silverhawks is coming back for some reason, but m.a.s.k is still sitting dormant. I hope on the 40th episode, 40th anniversary episode, damn, I'll be old by then. I'll be 59. See, that's what I'm talking about. Do something. I just hope to be able to share a really positive day with everybody one day about m.a.s.k coming back. Keep watching, asking questions, keep being involved, and keep learning. So everybody, thanks again for sticking around for 20 or so years. And as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to help keep m.a.s.k alive. And this is Bill from Matt-Trakker.com, and I'll talk to you later.